Hello, everyone. This is your favorite person, Stardust. And like always, I've got my own music playing. Tonight's topic is true friendship. Now, you're probably wondering, why in the world did I pick true friendship? Well, it's simple. Why not? We go through life and we make friends all the time. We make friends growing up. We make friends just whenever. We make friends in Head Start. And then we make friends grade school, junior high, high school, adulthood. But when you make that one special friend, that one true friend that you can turn to for anything. And that doesn't mean that you're in love with that person, okay? And that doesn't mean you want to go pick out curtains with this person. And it doesn't mean you want to go pick out rings with them. And it doesn't mean you want to spend the rest of your life with that person. It just means that y'all have a bond that time itself can never erase. And that person holds a place in your heart that no one could ever replace. And you're probably going, well, how can that be? I mean, how can someone like that affect you so much? It's simple. It's called chemistry. And you're like, well, how can that be so? How can chemistry make a person a friend? Who knows? Chemistry happens in ways that we don't understand. I mean, opposites attract. Let's be honest. We got like a John Doe who is totally different than anybody you could ever imagine. And he is best friends with the worst person in the world. I mean, you're going, this person is friends with this person? Are you serious? And you can't believe it. I mean, you're like, how can this person be best friends with this person? And you're looking at them like, oh my gosh. And that reminds me of a story. Now, this is our leisure day, because this is Friday. And I'm not going to be all serious about things because, well, it's Friday and I just don't feel like being serious. But I still think society needs to know about certain things. And true friendship is one thing society needs to know about. Because people take friendship for granted. And you don't need to do that. Friendship is one thing that is very valuable. I mean, you make memories with your friends. It's something that is precious. Yeah. You want your friends happy. You want them to be loved. You want them to be cherished. You want them to be protected. And you want them to be Yeah, yeah, I heard the bell. I know, that was crazy. Um, you want 'em to be the best thing that ever happened to society, right? I know. Well, back to my story. Um, we're changing names again, like always. And we're going to call, in the story, first person, we're going to call him Parker. And the second person, we're going to call Paul. Now, Parker was the most irritating, strange, you just wanted to slap him. You couldn't stand being around him. You thought that the Lord put that Paul, not Paul, or did I say Peter? Well, now I've already messed it up. Well, anyway, you just thought that the Lord put, well, we'll just say the irritating one's Peter. Yeah, put Peter on this earth to just irritate everybody, okay? And then you got Paul. And Paul is this really nice guy. Yeah, Paul has a kind heart. And he is just sweet to everybody. Yeah. And Paul's got four siblings. You know, he's got three brothers, one sister, if I'm not mistaken. And some are older, some are younger. And Peter just didn't have any friends. Yeah. Peter was a loner. Nobody liked Peter. And why did no one like Peter? Well, let's be honest. Peter was a pain in the seat. Yes, he was. He irritated everybody. Oh my gosh. He would come over to the house and it was like, hey, Stardust, what's up? And you're going, hey, Peter. And you're like 8, 9 years old at this time, right? And even you couldn't stand it. But Paul, being the kind-hearted person he was, and being godlike as he was, he wanted Peter to have friends, He wanted Peter to be able to have the friends, and to be accepted, to be loved and to be appreciated. So what did Paul do? Paul became friends with Peter. Well, there went the neighborhood. Because every time you turned around, guess who was at the house? Peter. And Peter was a pain in the seat, like I said. And he would ask the most, and I'm just going to say it, ignorant questions. Like, why is the sky blue? Why is grass green? Why do trees have green leaves? Why do rabbits hop? Now, let me explain a few things about Peter. Peter, at this time, was a 15-year-old boy, okay, because he's the same age as Paul. And there was nothing wrong with Peter mentally. Now, I don't know if Peter did this intentionally to get attention, or if Peter was just, God forgive me, stupid. But you would look at him and go, Lord, did he just ask those questions? Well, Paul, being the friend that he was, he would be like, hey, Peter, how you doing? The sky's blue because, well, yeah, the sun reflects off the ocean. And then it reflects back into the atmosphere. And it causes the sky to look blue. If we didn't have the sun, then the sky would look dark all the time. Well, that caused another question. Well, why is the sky dark at night? And then Paul had to answer that question. And, then Peter's like, well, why is the trees green? Leaves are green. And Paul had to answer that one. He's like, well, in the spring and summer, trees give off oxygen. Well, they have to be able to take in carbon dioxide. And so what happens is, they pull in, they turn green and, the leaves do, and they pull in that carbon dioxide, and then they exhale the oxygen through the green leaves. Yeah, that's what Paul told Peter. Sounds good, right? You think it would. Well, then Peter asks about the grass. And Paul gives him the same answer. Well, me being a little smart butt like always growing up, I decided to go and ask Peter myself a question. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to ask a 15-year-old a question, and you're going to be a smart mouth about it, don't let your parents be around, okay? But I was a kid, so you know how kids can be. Kids are, we're kids. So, I go up to Peter and I say, hey, Peter. And he's like, well, hi there, Stardust. How you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. And I looked at him. I said, can you answer me one question? He's like, sure, I can ask that. Yeah. I can answer your question. I looked at him. I said, why do you ask stupid questions? He goes, stupid questions? I was like, yeah, you ask stupid questions. He goes, no, I don't. I'm like, yes, you do. You ask why the sky's blue, grass is green, trees are green. I'm like, that's third grade stuff you learn. I'm like, you're 15 years old. You should know this stuff. Are you mentally challenged? Well, you don't say stuff like that around your parents, because when you do that, you get in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. I got in trouble. And we won't even go into that detail. Let's just say I never asked Peter again why he asked stupid questions. Instead, when Peter came over and Paul wasn't around, and he would ask me stupid questions, I would be nice and answer. Like, why does asphalt? Because a long time ago, I'm not sure, there might be some younger generations listening to this podcast. There used to be like this black asphalt